Family, it all starts with discipline. You gotta see it first. Yes, that's obvious, family, but you gotta have discipline. To get to the next level in your life, you gotta have a plan to get there, and you gotta convert the things that you already know is what it's gonna take, depending on what it is you're trying to be. Family. But don't stop and compare your life to other beings, because life's gonna teach you and teach you alone different. Because we're not all getting the same knowledge. Life is giving everybody a bit of what life is truly, but not really in a sense yet, because you're learning things that you were forced to. That's why it is important to trust your gut. You may hear things, but it doesn't mean that it's for you to believe it. Family. So believe in yourself. You know, but discipline. You want to build that up, because discipline is key, y'all, and it's a signification of who you are, and it's behind your background. Family. You don't need friends. You can have friends, but friends can come and they can go. You know, discipline, y'all. It can be here and it can be implanted for as long as you can, show up. Discipline only falls on the user, y'all. You may ask me, how does this help? It helps you long term wise, y'all. When you build, when you save, or when you are worrying about, becoming something, you're looking ahead, right? This is exactly why building discipline in the beginning of your life matters, because it helps you build everything else up later on, family. But ways to build up your discipline, it all starts with the mind. The mind is a mental game, and if you are a slave to your mind, well, it's gonna be hard for you to physically make decisions based upon your best decision, because the ego might want to do something, but your higher self may know, like, nah. For instance, you wanna, get healthy, you wanna, stay ripped, but if you're eating something that's gonna cause you to lose or, stay low with energy, that's your ego that wants it because it tastes good and you like it, right? But your higher self knows that shit ain't healthy, and it's gonna, ruin me internally. But you already know the answers, family. But it's for the user to make the decisions, and that's when discipline comes in to key, family. So what are you gonna do? And I'm not talking about, with just making decisions upon eating or sleeping, but life, working out too, y'all. You want to have a body that's gonna help you in life, y'all, because life is gonna drag you through the waters, through the depths. But it's all about your patience and you enjoying the journey, because as long as you show up, no one can defy the credit you build up. Family. People will talk on the sidelines. They will watch you. They will study you. But don't expect people to shake your hands and greet you. That is never the certain, because people don't see life like you. You're locked in onto something, right? But them, they're living in the moment, y'all. And that's why it's hard to make friends, or that's why it's hard for people to get you. That just shows you how much of a rare commodity you are in this world. So if you are thinking that you that they lost you, they did. You didn't lose them, because you are the gem, family. You are the one that resolves life. And that's for every being that chooses to focus on self-care first. Family. But you have two choices in life, family. You're gonna make the right decision based upon what you want to do to build up your life, or you're gonna stay calm and live presently but comfortable, which is another part, depending on what you want to do. People build up discipline, y'all, because they want to do things, but they also want to show that they have discipline. That's why people build it. But if you want to start to gain discipline, family, first thing I'll say is, start working out if you don't work out already, because it's gonna build your body up to endure, you know, the pain you are sharpening and becoming. You know, when you don't work out, family, your body, it metamorphoses because it goes from a state that was never worked out to a state of showing hard work, because you have mastered discipline, family. Depending on if you started today and you keep going. Discipline is when you show up every day for 2 weeks, family, because you care about your health. You want to be strong, you know, family. But think about this, and you know, show this to other beings if they are lacking this or they want to seek perfection. Perfection is the closest way to staying true to what you are, you know, seeing or believing. But you know, another thing that I want to get on in this video is, you know, the work put in. You know, when you go to the gym, family, you know, they say that if you work hard, you get results. Yes, over time, depending on, you know, if you are truly, you know, putting in the grind, you know, family. If you are just, you know, working out but not really going at it, well then your body's gonna take time, or it may not show itself. You may be questioning yourself. That's normal. But that's why you gotta build up, you know, your energy and go at it, you know, because whenever you feel it, you'll know when the change is happening, yo. You know, it's an internal feeling, family, that causes change to your mind because you feel it. But discipline is everything, yo, and that's how you get a good body. You eat healthy, or you just start thinking clear. You know, a lot of people are battling addictions, or they just, you don't know, are chasing people. You know, love yourself, family. You know, all that excess energy is draining you. It's causing you to feel stuck. And I'm talking to the people that need this, you know, because, you know, why pay money going to somebody, you know, that you're gonna spill your beings to, when you could just listen to some real shit and you know, everything's upon you. You gotta remind yourself that you gotta get up and take that shit by the hand, family. Ain't nobody gonna help you no more because people don't know where help is. You know, people been so reliant on others now. That's not the way, especially in 2026, yo. You know, you gotta do some internal work. You gotta focus on your, you know, present moment, because you will gain knowledge. You know, family. Nobody's gonna help you. And if you do encounter those beings that do help you, family, well, you know, help those beings as well, yo, because it's all about building, you know, and creating. You know, this world has fell in darkness. I always remind you about that. You know, you see darkness whenever you see killings or you see random people getting hurt for no reason. But, you know, don't condemn the universe for that. You know, question your reality and question why is the world this way. And once you question yourself enough to where you don't like what you're seeing, you gotta change your perception of, you know, what they taught us and, you know, what you are, because now you don't want to be somebody that the world has taught you, someone that's gonna, you know, try to impress. You just want to walk out authentic, like a fucking, you know, a light, you know. And that's why people can't look at you, or, you know, you irritate them so they back the fuck off, you know, family. That's your superpower, chosen one. You know, the world is mad that they can't buy that from you. The only thing they can do is try to get you to not see it, because you are a creative force, family. Since you create with your mind, y'all, all you gotta do is put action behind that, y'all. That's why discipline is everything. And, you know, friendships and meeting the right people only add on to that, y'all, because y'all are all increasing the, you know, energetic field of, you know, once from being sad to being happy, and that changes the world around you, because that's science, you know, family. But it's something to look into, family, because if you care about yourself, and the more you can tune with yourself, you'll start caring about your reality. And once you are being, you know, around beings who like to live in filth and shit, it changes your, you know, mind on the world, because you realize that a lot of people are not living for betterance. They're living for, you know, the bare minimum, you know, family. But that's why I give y'all this video, because, You know, this shit is dying in this era, y'all. Robots are coming out. You know, the world is, electronic. That just shows you how much people would rather, stay down and comfortable. We were all once outside, thinking, using our brains, to, fulfill what life holds. But before I end this video, don't, be comfortable, family, unless it's a time for you to be comfortable. You gotta want it as bad as you say you do, because anything can happen. Everybody wants to win in life, not for the feeling, but because of how hard it shows you have came. Yes, you want everything that comes with it, but you like knowing that you put in the hard work to gain results, family. It's just like whenever you go on a fast, and once you break that fast, you feel rewarded. But I hope that you gain something from this video, family. Discipline is everything. Discipline reminds you that if I don't, stay in shape, well then, my woman might dump my ass because my value is decreasing. You don't want to be, overweighted. You want to be skinny. You want to feel light as a feather. You want to feel quick, and maybe in self-defense. You want to feel like you can protect yourself, family. So discipline is everything, yo. Not only does it start with workouts, diets, thinking, because if you can be a slave to your mind as well, yo, you can be caught in trauma, addictions, regret. People say that they have defeated self, but self-mastery comes with more than just, beyond the physical, yo. Everything's mental too. That's why people go crazy. They can't take boredom, But once you live in acceptance and you stay calm with it, you flow like water. But I see our family member. Discipline is everything, yo. In a world like this,